I used to be a youth who wambled around uselessly. I'm trying to be Ulysses with that mental power I used to be. Conscious but lost in a lucid dream. Attended school while my mind played truancy. I used to be devoted to damsels dutifully. Then I'd found one who'd do for me as I do for her. Before that I was used and hurt, but that comparatively pales to the prospect of losing her. I never used to be a kid who refused to speak. I'm still the same, just more astute when I choose my words. My labour's fruits in the creative juice they leak. Disperse droplets of knowledge to soothe your thirst. In verse, I hope the brain food I produce and serve, once consumed, it works to boost and perk you up a bit. And if that's the case and you like the taste, I recognise it mightn't be the same for another kid. And that's the beauty of it. Art's open to interpretation, perception dependent on the beholder's eye. I used to be preoccupied with others' expectations, but now the next man's standards don't matter, only mine. The barriers to self-acceptance erode with time, beginning to feel at home in your own skin. Approaching life with an open heart and open mind. Forgiving and getting love, I'm evolving.
The life without love is no life at all.
Shit. I know we're a bit short of time, so I'm just going to do one verse of this before I get into the next one. You know you gotta love it. You know you gotta love it. Hey, hey. Without love, you wouldn't hear my voice right now. My choice to write down these thoughts in my crown. Whether you consider them jewels or pebbles, it's out of love whether you think it's a noose or metal. Around my neck, it's not love for the game, it's not a game to me. A little play, lots of work, it's not labour free. I take time with it like when artists and bakers need. The servant with love for the art, and it's plain to see that it's ingrained in me. I don't do it for the chart of the mainstream. I don't follow the current, I've got love for the fans that say they rate me and tell me from the bottom of their hearts that they love it. That's my mission accomplished. If I've inspired one kid to have his literature published, or pickets and drumsticks, I did it, I've done it, it's not make-believe. Got love for Scran cause he made the beat. You won't hear me complain about how I hate the scene. Though some artists just ain't for me, no discussion. If they do it for the love and not chasing green, it's just a waste of energy to begrudge them. It's a love thing, not just a like or a thumbs up. You can tell it's love like the eyes of a young pup. I wrote this rhyme while the sun's up. That's why I feel like it's one life for one love. Hey, thank you. You know you gotta love it. Hey, hey. Thank you very much. Love it. Hey, hey. Yeah, I know I'm kind of trying like cut down all the different tunes I'm doing. But yeah, about 9.5 months ago, I became a father for the first time. And thank you, big up. And yeah, to a little boy called Asher. And yeah, nobody really tells you like how, they tell you certain bits, but like there's a lot of details they skip out. Like, have we got any parents in the audience? Yes, you know where I'm coming from. Like it's monumental, it's life-changing for like a variety of reasons, you know, and it has its highs and lows. You know, it's a wholly positive experience, but it's hard. But it did hammer home the point that, you know, in order to be able to, well, I feel that in order to be able to raise a happy, healthy boy, or maybe later on a girl, we have to be happy ourselves. So self-care is paramount in order to be able to then transfer that onto the next generation. So, yeah, I wrote a tune basically, the first bit I wrote towards the end of the pregnancy, where there were quite a few twists and turns, got a little bit kind of fraught in places, and I wrote a bit just after the birth of our boy, and then a few months later kind of reflecting on the whole experience, the whole journey. So I kind of pieced it together on this one beat, and it's called Quiet Life. Hope you enjoy it. Big ups to like all the open micers and the feature art so far. Birdspeed, you smashed it. all the open mic, because I walked in and I literally, it's just been flames from beginning to end. So it's not even ended. So from beginning to this very point, yeah. Quiet life. Stay hydrated, people. It's important. Wrap up warm. Yeah. On the eve of November the 15th came an event that had us fretted with gritted teeth. Nearly 30 weeks since we saw that blue cross. Now I'm caught in the hospital with my shoes off. After the sort of scare for which you don't prepare, trying to focus under the glare of the chrome affair. For a moment there, a future life flashed before me, before I had the chance to write that chapter of the story. Reassured to hear the heart beating normally, you see the usual movements, that feeling of pure relief. Cause every time you hit the wall there's that connection, but for the one that carries you it's with her every second. Whether it's on cue or ahead of the designated date, I can't wait for the moment I get to see your face. Apparently you're equal parts mother and father, so I hope for heaven's sake that you've inherited my better traits. It's anything for a quiet life. It's anything for a quiet life. I'm too old for the nonsense, but that's by the by. Just content to see my little man and wife by my side. It's anything for a quiet life. It's anything for a quiet life. I'm too old for the nonsense, but that's by the by. Just content to see my little man and wife by my side. It's mad, thinking back to our first kiss. Fast forward to planning for our first kid. Then that August when I felt his first kicks. Now you're born and thinking about buying your first kicks. No words to fit that feeling of pure calm. I was doing chores as you were sleeping on my forearm. Too delicate, your pinky's bigger than... I'd sooner suffer than let anybody cause harm. Contented, settle with my kid and my wife. She's my hero, my partner, the giver of life. Through all the joy and the hardship, she's been at my side. All praise to the divine feminine, my spiritual guide. And though we don't get as much kipping at night, and everyday activities are now military like, this family of mine's a vision of pride. There's no epiphany like staring deep into those innocent eyes. I'm just ecstatic that you're with us alive. On the day of your birth you didn't enter the world kicking and screaming. You weren't twitching even. And for the first 12 minutes of existence the medics assisted your breathing. It felt like a little bit of history repeating, having premature premonitions of grimace and grieving. And when your little chest was beginning to heave, I swear I felt like jumping out my chair and hitting the ceiling. The hospital staff, I could have kissed each of them. God bless the NHS for infinite reasons. You brought warmth when it was bitter and freezing. Now when I picture my son, I'm literally beaming. I used to contemplate the meaning of life, but through the advent of your life, you've given it meaning. You're giggling, grinning, teething, squinting, blessed to witness these milestones and little achievements. But a few months ago, it was touch and go. It was a lot, but the docs had it under control. And after 3 days of questions, tests and injections, we left and brought our little bundle home. Thanks a lot, everyone. Appreciate it, man. The vibe is real nice. This next piece is, I wrote this kind of like my sort of relationship with spirituality and faith and religion, which kind of growing up was fairly minimal. I suppose I grew up in like an atheist household. My father always referred to himself as a recovering Catholic, i.e. his experiences of Catholicism were not very positive for the most part, shall we say. So he kind of didn't really want to sort of raise us in that same sort of environment, you know. But inevitably certain sort of principles and ideas and little bits of ethos trickled down. And it was through kind of like moving down here and working in East London alongside a lot of people, you know, in areas that are predominantly Muslim, and kind of interacting with people of different faiths and like working in homeless shelters in Hackney, realising a lot of the people that attended these shelters, in fact, a lot of the people running these shelters are doing a job that the government aren't doing. They're stepping in and like providing these services, and a lot of them are churchgoers, you know. So I kind of started to develop this understanding that for a lot of people it's like provides them the moral compass, you know, and purpose. So I kind of wrote a piece, sort of, just to be honest, by the end of it I had more questions than I did sort of answers. So yeah, it's about my sort of attitude to faith and my curiosity in it. Hope you enjoy it. It's called Atman, which is Hindi or Sanskrit for soul or spirit. So let's get into this. Epic intro. Sounds like angels taking off or some shit. I wasn't raised as a man of faith. Didn't have to attend church on the Sabbath day. But my dad was raised as a Catholic, and many values and principles he still carries today. As a young boy, I used to be fascinated with ancient mythology and the deities' fancy names, the characters catching my overactive imagination. But with the advent of adolescence, that passion waned and gradually faded like a candle's flame. Sad to say, to the otherworldly I started to raise a barricade, pursuing happiness through gratification, fixated on the physical, what you can see and grasp, but with age that seems like a limited perception of reality. And I'm after a break, a change for this stagnant state. See, I'm about to wrap my brains to ascertain if there's more than blood and bones contained in my lanky frame. Scan the pages of history, see the mystery of divinity so great. People need to attach a face to this higher power, but if that's the case, is it in all of us? Like the translation of Namaste. This might sound pretentious, as though my path is paved to enlightenment. Not trying to paint myself as a saint. I know I'm a man of flaws, I have my faults. I just hope that my good deeds outweigh my past mistakes. So let's converse like Arjuna on the battlefield, Moses on the mount, the prophet with Jibril. Respect to followers of the Chakar and Ganda, the cross, the moon and stars of the Dharma wheel. As long as you use your beliefs not to harm but heal. There's layers to it once you start to peel. We're all connected through a creative spark and hearts that feel. There's certain answers science can't reveal. For centuries we've endeavoured to find the meaning of life. I'm sure there's more to it than scrambling for a piece of the pie. Is it a loop that keeps repeating like the seeds? Is a cycle of giving and receiving, moving like the seas and the tides? Is faith meaning to recite prayers and teachings inscribed in ancient text, genuflected with some beads of a shrine? Is it sacrifice and seizing to heed to your vices and leaving the swine beef for any meat from your diet? Is faith freedom from those demons with their secrets and lies, and not succumbing to the evils of ego and pride? Is it taking both the glory and the grief in your stride, to not lament the lows nor revel in the peaks and the highs? Does faith bring you in a peace or leave you eager to fight with anyone who doesn't happen to believe as you might? And do we see the divine in certain genius minds? Cause often it feels like the blind leading the blind. Now people like an epiphany to a beacon of light, or an awakening that creeps up like a thief in the night and causes your heart to soar like an eagle in flight. Evading all rhyme and reason, is it the reason I rhyme? I'm not being conceited or even implying I'm qualified to give you a piece of advice. I'm trying to obtain the answers, hoping to attain a state of sattva. So when my body's taken, my soul evades, captured the Atman. It's Arjuna on the battlefield, Moses on the mount, prophet with Jibril. Respect to followers of the Chakar and Ganda, the cross, the moon and stars of the Dharma wheel. As long as you use your beliefs not to harm but heal. There's layers to it once you start to peel. We're all connected through a creative spark and hearts that feel. Certain answers science can't reveal. What? Yeah. Oak dreams. Everything you see started small. The bigger picture comprised of minute particles. And trees are found in everything from news articles to tools sharper for use in a crude arsenal. The oak tree's one of the most hardy machines, and many men were needed before it even started to fall. Drawing strength from its surroundings since the very beginning. Outliving the most and forgiving the weather conditions. It didn't shrink and collapse when the winds of change blew it. It just stayed relaxed and gently swayed to it. No matter how much it grew, it always stayed rooted. A great blueprint if you create to make music. The oak won't forget where it came from. It's been a plant of simple means since day one. It needs water and light in order to thrive, so it craves sun and grows towards it but doesn't hide when the rain comes. Without its kind we'd be deprived of oxygen. They're the reciprocal respirators for the air we breathe. naturally recycling everything it offers us, the same way it gives back to the earth when it sheds its leaves. And in due time I start my own family tree. One night this vivid vision came to me as I slept, cause for time my branches have been intertwined. So it's only right we take the next natural step. Oak dreams, the mind sows seeds. With time and energy these ideas develop into tall trees. They form branches which grow leaves that bear fruit. Then once again the process repeats. Oak dreams, the mind sows seeds. With time and energy these ideas develop into tall trees. They form branches which grow leaves that bear fruit. Then once again the process repeats. You still out there? Nice, nice. Yeah. Oak dreams, just imagine if we could walk a land where every woman, child and man stood a sporting chance. You couldn't distinguish between a lord and tramp, and things were brought back to the source where it all began. A world of opportunity where the doors don't slam in faces and we stand proud as kings whose portraits hang. Imagine we weren't all caught in a corporate clamp to advance in accordance with nature but didn't thwart our plans. We built tools of those that we acquired bore a stamp as a mark to certify that it was forged by hand. We functioned as hunter-gatherers and caught our scran, staying handy with the spear of a watering can. We weren't shackled by religion nor the laws of man, nor the fabricated boundaries for which we fought our wars. But for an alternative I draw a blank. They're just the thoughts I had sat beneath a branch on an autumn morn. Oak dreams, the mind sows seeds. With time and energy these ideas develop into tall trees. They form branches which grow leaves that bear fruit. Then once again the process repeats. Oak dreams, the mind sows seeds. With time and energy these ideas develop into tall trees. They form branches which grow leaves that bear fruit. Then once again the process repeats. Thank you. Big up yourselves.